course, Jacob Fatu coming out because they were having a match, a triple threat qualifier at the end. But before even talking about that, it's actually incredible how over Jacob Fatu is. And it's not even surprising because we knew that this was going to happen the second that it was leaked online. Like, hey, Jacob Fatu got signed to WWE. And then we were all talking about how adding him into the Bloodline 2.0 was going to be a little bit sketchy because people were so excited that he was joining WWE. And if they weren't going to make him the leader of the new Bloodline, which of course we knew that they weren't going to because of Solo Sikoa, that it might be a little bit problematic because people had more of a reaction to Jacob Fatu than they ever have for Solo Sikoa. And they kind of booed him for the most part when he was, doing the whole I love you Solo thing. Now that he's kind of branched off over the past month or so,
yeah,
we hear Fatu, Fatu, Fatu every night, and they're still trying to push this guy like you're supposed to hate him. And I'm like, you guys, I get what you're trying to do, but it's not working. It's not working. Even Tamatonga is over. It's like
they love to because they have something. Yeah.
And he panders to the crowd for it. You know what I mean? And that's not something that generally heels will do because they don't want you to cheer along with them. They want a reaction, but not generally like a favorable reaction. So it's interesting because I'm like, how are they going to go about this? But I mean, they have a superstar already.
They have a superstar and they have someone where he can carry himself pretty well. He does not need the bloodline attached to him for him to make his name in WWE. Having Tamatonga not have a microphone and not do the like to introduce him going right into it. You can tell that they see him in the world title picture sooner rather than later, which makes more sense because he was more over than Solo.
I know.
And what he brings to the bloodline is not someone who just is doing I love you Solo for a year and a half. Just launch him to the moon now. Look at what he did in the triple threat match. Like the man is a goddamn star.
I still feel like they missed out on making an I love you Solo shirt because I would have bought that and bought that so quick. As long as it wasn't ugly, I would have bought that so quick because I was obsessed with that. So good. But it is interesting because they're going with this single push kind of with him right now, and based off of what we saw on SmackDown, it kind of feels like we might be getting a Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at Mania. Maybe, I don't know, they might try and do it at Elimination Chamber. I feel like it's more of an Elimination Chamber match than a Mania match, but if they want to highlight the both of them, then they might want to push it till Mania.
There's also an Elimination Chamber match that was announced that is more of a Mania match, but to each their own.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about that, right?
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So,
hi, Dylan.
I do think it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing with Jacob, though, because if the crowd continues to react this way, generally when it comes to professional wrestling, you kind of have to go with how the crowd is going. Like if they're not giving you the reaction that you're trying to get, you kind of have to go the other way. I mean, we were just talking about it with Charlotte, although I still think that they brought Charlotte back as a heel. People don't believe that. They think they brought her back as a babyface and that they had
it's actually, it was told, I saw that she was brought back to be the face during her feud with Tiffany. But
yeah, see, I don't agree with it, but yeah, see, I don't agree with that, but if we're gonna use that as the latest example, then they might have to do that with Jacob. And if they have him go against Solo, then it makes sense, right? Like that they make him the good guy in the situation. Also, would be interesting if they're gonna do that with Tamatonga, because then it's like, well, if he's gonna be Jacob's little sidekick, then he would have to be a good guy too, and I am here for it. But I want everybody who has been, booing Mr. Tamatonga, take a step back, go to the back of the line. Okay, some of us have appreciated him. Okay, and just because you're supposed to cheer for him now doesn't mean that you are up at the front. Okay,